1 o'clock on the West Coast, 4 o'clock on the East Coast. Welcome. Thank you for being here. I'll share my screen and we'll go ahead and get started. Avish, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good. And Gil is also on the line for a little while here. Gil Phelan, who you graciously welcomed into the inner sanctum.
I did. Hello, Gil.
He's we can't I haven't muted, but I guess I could unmute him, but it could create a ruckus. So Gil, next time we'll set you up in some way. We're only allowed to have a certain number of contributors here, or else it becomes unruly. So we'll get you going there at some point. Okay, good. So first off, I wanted to do a quick review. Last I spoke, I was at Bill DeWeese's in my 1 week long intensive client JV partner figuring stuff out mode. So I'm going to tell you basically so what happened, Avish, for you and for anybody else who's on the webinar so they can learn from this. So here's what happened. The issue is 1 week spent with Bill DeWeese. Actually, let's put it like that. So now here is, first off, we got a load done. We got a ton of information, just really a lot of stuff done. Among those things, and Avish, you'll find this fairly familiar looking when I go there, is we put together the voice over demo teleseminar. No, speaker. This is it. There's so many of them we put together. Speaker to voicetalent.com. So, Avish, I think, did you take a look at this already or not yet?
No, I did not.
Okay, so we haven't yet, Bill has not yet recorded the video, I don't think, but this is specifically taking Bill's information and shoehorning it into the speaker's niche. So just take a look at this as if you were reading it for the first time. How any speaker can make a hefty additional income doing voiceover work. This 4-part teleseminar series features Bill DeWeese with one goal in mind: to help you, as a speaker, learn how to make money doing voiceovers. Attend this first-of-a-kind training and learn how any speaker can create a very nice part-time or even full-time income doing voiceover work. Dear speaker, one of the areas that very few speakers exploit is the voiceover market. You could be making an extra $20, $30, $50, or $100,000 each year doing this. Sound intriguing? Then keep reading. You're a speaker. Your greatest asset is your voice. Why not use it to make more money? And this is where I want your feedback. I put this line in here intentionally. Tell me what you think. Unless you're working every day as a speaker, you have time to do voiceovers. Many voiceover talent work part-time. You can do as much or as little as you like, and it's a lot of fun. And here's the other good line I like. And as a speaker, you'll benefit from the prestige that comes from being a voice talent. So, what do you think of these two lines? I put them in there for obvious reasons I think you can figure out.
Yeah, I like the first one. I think the second bit, may raise some questions like, what about prestige from being a voiceover artist. But
You wouldn't think there's prestige if I told you that I was the voice of blah 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 on the radio, that wouldn't, as another speaker, as a fellow speaker, that wouldn't make you feel like, wow, that's pretty cool.
well, I mean, if you told me you were the voice on the nationwide commercial, then yeah. But if you're like, oh, I'm the voice on Drive Time Radio's, local Chicken Shack commercial.
And make an extra 75,000 a year.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The money part is great. You asked me my opinion. I think the
Yeah.
prestige one would make me say I don't.
So
I don't know if I would buy that, or I'd want more. I'd want more. I don't think that's something people necessarily, when they think of voiceover talent, their mind immediately goes to, ooh, that's a high prestige industry.
Really interesting. See, whereas I would have thought just the opposite. So anyway, let's keep going. Good feedback. It's a natural fit. Do you think that line hurts being there?
I don't think so.
So it's not a negative. It might be a net zero to you.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's sales copy, so it raises a little bit of an eyebrow and be like, all right, but I'm not gonna be like, oh, these guys are crazy, I'm gonna click away.
Got it. So in other words, it doesn't have any negative. It doesn't necessarily have the positive that I might think it has.
For me, no.
Okay, good feedback. Okay, so it's a natural fit. The problem is, how do you get started? Problem solved. A new 4-part teleseminar will give you a step-by-step blueprint for success. In a month's time, you could be getting paid to do voice work. How does that sound for you? In a month's time.
Yeah, I think that's great.
And by the way, you specifically.
Oh,
So
I like it.
yeah, here's what will be covered. Number one, the basics. And by the way, I would appreciate if you want to be involved in this and so be a co questioner of Bill. I'd love to have you do
Hmm.
that.
Sure, yeah, I'm happy to help out.
Okay, so I mean, yeah, I mean, I think you'd find it valuable. So the mechanics, all this. Number two is audiobooks. Number three is commercials. Number four is marketing. Your instructors, Bill DeWeese. Bill, ooh, we got a typo there. Make a note of that. I think I might even have a pen, be able to write that down myself today. So, Bill in the bio, misspelled. Okay, so Bill, that's, by the way, for those of you who can't see it, that's Bill spelled with one L. Bill is a 30-year media veteran. He coached, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, we put this all together, and we did it very much like, now the only thing is we have to flesh out these bonuses here a little bit better. So the bonuses, I'm going to make another note there. Those are being done now as well. And so what we did is going back to what I did at Bill's place for a week. So we strategized and reserved a number of domains. We also put together this site, which again, this isn't really for you, but I'll just have you take a look at it because the site was super easy to put together, and it targets his market directly. I'll let you take a look at this here.
If you want to be a working voiceover talent, the first step is to have a competitive voiceover demo. Without a great voiceover demo, you simply don't work as a voiceover talent. Hi, my name's Bill DeWeese. I am a working voiceover talent, a high-performance voiceover talent coach, and a demo producer. And I know from experience that the only way to get an agent, the only way to get looked at or listened to by a casting director, and the only way to get serious consideration from a good client is to have a killer demo. In this audio program, I discuss all of the important elements of an effective, a competitive, a killer voiceover demo that will help you get representation and will help you to get work. What kind of copy? How do you perform it? How should the demo be put together? Whether you're doing it yourself or whether you're working with somebody else, this will give you the keys to creating a demo that gets you work as a voiceover talent.
Okay, so that was about 56 seconds. It's $17, so all we have is a 56-second video sales pitch. We've got the order now button for $17, and we've got a little bit of copy. Dear voiceover artists want to succeed, blah, 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 all this stuff, and we only go that long. That's it, and that's all I think we need for a $17 product, particularly in a market in which he already has a toehold and where he's speaking to people that know exactly what he's talking about.
Hmm.
And so I think that this would be a good model for anyone. I mean, I'm thinking about everybody in the information marketing business, in the information products business, I should say, who wants to start to create almost, quote unquote, instant information products. We recorded this in under an hour. If we knew and had all the technical skills of a Stanley or an Avish or someone like Avish or my wife who went to Ivy League schools, we would probably have had it up within a matter of half an hour more on Web Marketing Magic. So this site very easily produced, the product itself very easily produced, in less than a half a day, a product can be up and running for 17 bucks and making money, and that of course is his front end product. So what I was trying to do is, he's got some other products that sell for $147 and $247. So what I was trying to do is fill that in. So here's a $17 product. We also have, as I think I showed last week as well, I showed his, the Amazon Kindle book that we've got going. And I do have an issue here that I brought up with Bill that I think is important to bring up for everybody else, which is this. I'll put in his, and by the way, everything that comes up under Bill DeWeese, a lot of his voice work for various audiobooks. If you see here, he's got 30 results. He's done a lot of audiobooks, but this is the book we're promoting. Luckily, we got review number 2, and I told him, I said, we need to get a lot of reviews. 25, 30 people have already bought this thing. We only have 2 reviews. So the one review was really good, very honest, and it was pretty good. So this guy did one, and then another person, I haven't even read this yet. I've read several books on starting a VO career, but nothing compares to this. Bill is easy to understand, cuts to the chase, and completely transparent about himself, how much he makes, and compares it to when he first started. That works. What doesn't? And the answer is the why. It was like having Bill over for a cup of coffee, and him telling me everything I needed to know about voiceover in a way that was interesting, attention-grabbing, and totally sincere. Bill is the real deal. So this kind of stuff, but what I encourage Bill to do is to stimulate his buyers to actually give more reviews, because we want to see this number of reviews, which, by the way, is 2 at the moment. We'd like to see that number of reviews jump to at least something in the double digits. I'd like to see at least 10 to 15 as soon as possible. Now, again, like we've talked about before, Avish, and you've heard me say, if we get 15 reviews, I do not want all of them. If we get 15 Amazon reviews, I do not want them all to be 5 stars. Why? Because it looks bogus. Let me give you an example of someone, and I think I've shown. Have you seen this one before? Voiceover. There's a guy named Harlan. What's his name? Harlan. Yeah, here it is. Look at it.
Yeah, he's got like a ton of reviews, like all 5 stars.
Yeah, look at this. This is his 72 reviews, and it's 5-star. This makes me suspicious. It doesn't pass the smell test. It's like, are you kidding me? You know. So, and look at this is one of his major competitors. A nice 1-star review of it. She's excited. I mean, so it's, you know, this is one of the things that you have to really think about. So if you're trying to, and the question there is, well, how are you getting the reviews? Well, one of the things he did is he said that everybody ordered the book if they gave, and this is where it comes in, so if they reviewed, and he didn't tell them how to review it, if they reviewed and liked on FB, Facebook, he would let them attend a Q&A session webinar with him for free. So that was the enticement, to get people to review it, to like it on Facebook. And so now I think we're up to something, I think I saw 6 likes on Facebook, and that's, you know, headed in the right direction. I want to see a lot of likes, and I want to see a lot of, yeah, if you click on it, you'll see the number of likes. I think he had 6. Yes, it's 6 and 2 reviews. So now the question becomes, well, then if you get 10 reviews, do you intentionally want someone to give you a lower star review? I mean, you know, I would just say to people, be honest. You know, if you think it's worth 4 or 5 stars, put it in there. I want people to see, because if somebody puts a 1-star review in there after he's got 10 or 15 that are all 5-star, it actually, I think, helps. So the point is, how are you going to stimulate people to actually give you reviews? You're going to do it this way. Now, Gil, who's on the line here, still, he's got to go shortly. But Gil is in the process of finishing up his book on Costa Rica and buying and actually understanding the Caribbean coast. So let's put in, just for Gil's benefit here, Costa Rica, and we want to see what books are in the Costa Rica. Okay, so obviously Gil, I keep calling you, sorry, Bill and Gil, I get confused. Okay, so Happier Than a Billionaire, 194 reviews here. If you don't have this, Gil, you should get it. 194 reviews. Are you kidding me? How long has this been out? Wow, that's nice. 2 play tickets, no play on 1 dream. You know, this is worth taking a look at. So, number 1, and yeah, you should look at this. Now, the reason why this is good, he's got a couple of 1-star reviews in here, but he's got 155 5-stars. If you could come up with an ideal distribution of reviews, this would be it. 155 4s, 24 5 stars, 24 stars, 10 3 stars, 2 and 6 1-stars. So then what I always do is I always click on this and see, you know, what is somebody bitching about here. This book is extremely tedious and poorly written. It's not even worth it, blah, 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 blah. Sam, so, you know, who knows what the reason is, but I think it's good to check these out and to see, obviously, what your competition is doing, and that would be something. So obviously we know, Gil, people will buy ebooks about Costa Rica. So now the question then becomes, how do you come up with a title and a subtitle that most interests them? So although your title, Caribbean, Costa Rica, you know, we got to come up with something in the subtitle which basically shows people how to retire and live the good life. So Happier Than a Billionaire, living the 0-hour work week. You know, this is good. This is well done. Happier Than a Billionaire, quitting my job, moving to Costa Rica, and living the 0-hour work week. This is all good stuff. So Gil, worth you doing some research on, and I would do that as soon as you can. Actually, I can unmute Gil. Gil, let me see if I unmute you. See if you can talk. Say something. Here you go. 1, 2, 3. Gil, are you there?
Hello.
Yeah. So did you see what I
Yes,
what
Fred,
I
I'm
highlighted
here.
here? Do you see what
Yes, sir, I did.
Yeah. So what we got to
I
do?
agree 100%.
Yeah. So let's try and then maybe as we title the book, we got to be thinking about this. But I would go through and I would look at all of the books that come up when we put in Costa Rica. Now I know that it isn't just Costa Rica, but that's where you got to sort of start here. So there's Frommer's, there's 2 weeks in Costa Rica, a bunch of these now. If you notice, a lot of these are getting some pretty good, some pretty good number of people who have bought them. So I would be looking at all of these, not necessarily buying all of them, but looking at all of them, looking at their descriptions. What are they highlighting? How many people, if they're negative comments, read with the negative comments. A glimpse of the dark side of paradise. Oh, look at that picture.
Hey, Fred, I don't know if it's just me, but you get really low in your volume.
I do? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, you're much lower than you were before.
Oh, okay. Let me mute Gil. Sorry, Gil.
It's my fault.
Exactly. Okay, what about now, Avish?
Yeah, now you're
I'm back. Okay, sorry about that, Gil. Anyway, so Gil, that's one thing you want to do. I know you've got to run and go sell some Costa Rican beautiful property there. So, but anyway, so Avish, for those of us and anybody else who's on the webinar, again, this is how we're doing it. Now let's go back for a second to Bill DeWeese and what I did here. So we came up with a bunch of domain names. We recorded the video. The voiceover demo secrets. I finished writing the copy for the speaker-to-voice-talent.com. I have a list as long as my arm of all the things that we did while I was there, because what happened was I got to see him in his actual work environment. And this guy, Avish, when he says he's the hardest working man in the voiceover business, I was there. He did at least 50 hours in front of the microphone, at least.
Wow.
That's a lot of voice work. So he's, people say, wow, he made $250,000. Yeah, and he worked his rear end off, clearly. So one of the things we were trying to do is, one of the things we didn't get done, which I thought we were going to get done, which we were dreaming to think that we would, or I was dreaming, is he's got this thing called the 100 questions every voiceover artist wants to know, or something like that. So just check a question here. 1 second. Sound is muffled. Good now. Yeah, sorry about that. 100 questions every VO artist wants to know. This is what I thought we could do, and as I think I've told people here before, averaging around 5 minutes per question, you're looking at over 8 hours total video, which is pretty amazing. But what I told Bill to do was, because I saw how much he had to do, is I said, look, here's what I want you to do. Let's shoot for end of the year to have all of them done. That means if you do 2 to 4 each day, we'll knock them out by Jan 1st. That was my idea. So, and the reason is because this is going to be a site in which we protect, we have a protected page, put it behind a paywall, and we will have it separated into the top 10 questions and then maybe the rest of the questions. We're not sure how we're going to do it, but the idea would be people can go on and they can watch them online. Okay, so I think I talked about that last time. But the other thing is we spent a lot of time sort of going over and creating the various things. Like we came up with, one of the things we came up with is the site, and I don't know if it's up yet. Let me just see. BillDoMyDemo.com. Because Bill will charge people $12.50 for doing his demo. May not be there. Oh yeah, here it is. This site shows you the next killer organic because it is great. So he's actually, what happened was Stanley, I think, cloned the other one. And so this is basically going to be a site that does it's going to have two things. It's going to have the $1,250, because people are paying Bill that all day long to do his demo. And we're going to offer the $19.97 version to do their demo and get a buttload of products. Busload of products. They don't like to say buttload. So what we're going to do is price this. Now, again, this is the higher end of the tiering spectrum here, but apparently people are aware. Now, there's another site that we came up with. Let's see if that's up yet. And you'll notice the theme here. CritiqueMyDemo.com, in which, this is another one we just threw up there. This is going to be one of those where we've come up with the following price point. A lot of voiceover talent need to get people to give them feedback who know what they're doing about how good their demo is. So Bill is developing, he's developing a one-page critique sheet that will allow him to go on, listen to somebody's demo, fill out some things, and send it back to them for $49. Now, obviously, at the end of that, Bill will say, hey, here are some suggestions. I thought your demo was great, or if I didn't think your demo was great, here's a bunch of things you can look at, buy of mine. If you want me to do your demo, it's $12.50. So, in other words, he's giving them valid criticism worth more than $49. So we're now filling in his funnel. We've got the $17 item that I showed you earlier. You know, we've got his, up here, above it, we have the $4.99 Kindle book. We've got the how to do a demo product audio. Demo audio. And now we're going to have the $47 or $49 critique my demo product. And so what then the next thing is here, the reason why I wanted him to get the 100 questions figured out is we might blow those out early on at either $77 or $97 for the 100 questions, which would be way below its value. So we're now seeing the progression from a $4.99 Kindle book to a $17 to this. Now you notice also we've, within this group of products right here, actually this is a video, so it proves the point here. So in these products right here, right on this list, let's remove the 247. So we have a written item, which is the Kindle book. We have an audio. We have video. And we have personal services or one-on-one kind of stuff. And oh, the other thing we did a lot. We also devised a group coaching system, and I forget what the URL we came up with for that is, but I'm not sure. So we're going to have a combination of personal, one-on-one coaching, and some group coaching. And we didn't get it all done in a week, but we certainly created the strategy, just like I do when I'm, people are at the boot camp, we get everything done. But this is what's happening here. This is how this is all working. So, Avish, any comments, thoughts, ideas?
No, it looks great. You got a full variety there. So
yeah, we got a whole variety, a bunch of things going, and it's moving along. Now, the other thing that I should mention to you is we also, while I was there, we had a conversation because in right about here, we're going to have the physical book, which we may sell for either $14.99 or $19.99 or $95, whatever we price it at here. Now, with the physical book, the one thing that we had to struggle with, we got everything done except we got the testimonials. And here was our problem with the testimonial. We got some great testimonials from some very well-known people in the industry. But testimonial problems, sometimes too long. So now the problem with them being too long. So he got 4 killer testimonials. And so what's going to happen is he's going to have to somehow edit down those testimonials. I think I might be able to. I'll show it to you next time. But what happened? Have you seen his full cover yet, Avish?
With igniting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking front and back.
No, I think I've just seen the front.
Got it. Okay, so his, if I can, let me just see if I can go and pull up my my Gmail account here real quick. Let's see if I can do it. Let's go to Steve. Okay, let's see if this is Steve at Vector. Here we go. Okay, so here we go. Take a look at this. This looks really good. Oops, just a little bit smaller. So this is the book. So,
Nice.
what do you think?
I like it.
This
is great.
This isn't the most recent one. The most recent one is the one that has little dashes in front. Let me just go back and see if I can find it here. So Steve, let's go down to the testimonials there. Let's see here. Display images below. That's his stuff. Anyway, what happened was I didn't like the fact that the bullet points on the back cover weren't they weren't sort of popping out at me as much. So let me just see here, full cover. Here it is. Now let me just see if I can go back. Full cover idea here. Where's full cover idea again? Okay, let me go down here. Full cover. I think he did a newer version here. Here we go. So now look at it, Avish. So it's now got Bill's. We're looking right at that area. It's got the little check marks. Can you see those? Is that big enough on your screen?
Yeah, I can see the check marks.
So the check marks, and then Bill's picture is there, and there we have it. So this is, see you later. So this is what we got going on here. So, and then we've got the cover itself, and your voice could be worth 6 figures a year. Everybody, every day you hear thousands of voices. So it's a good and I like the way he did this with a little arrow. You know, it's kind of clever. And there's the microphone striking a match kind of thing, which I think looks pretty darn good. And so then this is going to be the, this, I think just the whole thing looks good. So anyway, but the problem was we couldn't get the testimonials to fit properly onto the, we couldn't get the testimonials to fit properly onto the back cover of the book because we were sort of, so you may have to sort of quote unquote shorten them a bit, which is done by just, putting some dots, ellipses, and then adding, whatever, just putting the best parts in there and leaving out the rest. So that's one of the things you can do there. So now, Avish, tell me what's been going on. I know you had a big project, a big thing that you gave. How did that go, by the way?
It went great. I may already, very close to having booked one spin-off gig from it already, so it's very exciting.
Gotcha. And you did this for whom?
This is the Delaware State Conference of the Society of Human Resource Management.
State Conference, okay. Sounds good. So now David is asking who did this cover. This is a guy, Steve, at Vector. I think that's right. Did I get that right? Do you remember, Vish? I think I did.
I don't.
Yeah, I think so. Let me just check here. Yeah, there it is, Vector. And it's Steve at Vector.com. He does a lot of stuff, including voice covers. So he's someone who, and by the way, the reason why I recommend him is that he charges you by the hour. So it's actually, this book cover is going to look as good or better than a lot of covers I've seen done, and it's going to be done for probably half the cost because he charges you strictly by the hour. So if you know what you're doing and you know in advance sort of what you want, it usually will come out cheaper to get something done like this. But this is really, really, he does a good job. So anyway, so good, Avish. So you were able to do that, but have you still been trying to get the blog post written?
Well, trying being the operative word. I didn't really get any posts done over the past week, but I got back on it today, so I put 2 more up today. So,
by the way, question for you: any calls on this free consult thing?
No.
Okay, that's fine. But we're getting, so the blog is getting bigger and bigger, right?
Yeah. So over the past, like I said, didn't really get any up since last week, but the 2 weeks preceding that, I put up 10, and the week before that was 8. So
yeah.
Then 2 more today, so kind of starting this week, I'm back on track.
Good. I think that, like I said, though, from the sounds of it, it's going to take the consistent effort over the next 4 to 6 months, and if we do that, with the system, it should, and should being the operative word, should work.
Yeah.
What? Oh, another thing that God, I didn't. This is amazing. We got this. I cannot give out pricing, but let me just say it was reasonable for the following. And this is another way. If we're talking about how to get things done quickly in information marketing, this would be one of the top things on the list. And here's what I'm talking about. So Bill and I sat in so we sat in a hotel in Las Vegas and recorded 3.5 hours of Q&A, questions and answers, in order to create the book. So we recorded all this stuff, and we were then, and that's why when you go to his book on the Kindle store, let me just go there and show you what I'm talking about here, rather than just telling you. So when you go to the book on the Kindle store and you put in Deweese, Bill Deweese, and you find his book, which is on the top here, and we look into it, you will notice that you scroll down here, it is in a question and answer form. Fred, then Bill, then Fred, then Bill, then Fred, then Bill. Now, the reason why we did that was to get this up and going quickly. It is not my preferred form to have a book in. It is in my preferred form if you want to get the book out immediately and as quickly as possible, which we wanted to. However, I then found someone, her name is Leslie, and Leslie, who is, I forget the exact show, I can get this to all of you at some future webinar. But Leslie agreed to take the transcript of the interview and turn it into a quote-unquote real book. And I've tried to do this once before. We got 2 chapters back from her a day or 2 ago. They look fine. She's been given the green light. She will have 40,000 words done by December 15th, and therefore by January 1st, Bill's book will be launching in its full real book format, as well as to be done in terms of his. And by the way, this is something, Avish, that if you and I wanted to do something, she could create this, on a limited budget.
Yeah, that sounds. I'd like to learn more about that.
Yeah, and so Leslie's name, and I don't want to forget. The next webinar, if you guys or anybody wants to know about it, I'll make sure, remind me of each to. Let me just make a note to myself. Also, Leslie's email and contact info. Yeah, because she's a good writer, and she can take that kind of work and make it into a quote real book, which is exactly what I wanted to do with Bill's. Because when it comes out in a hard copy, I want people, to not look at it as an interview book. I want them to look at it as a real how-to in the voiceover business book. So this should be, this should be done and ready to go. Operative word, should be done and ready to go by the first of the year. And the cover's ready to go. So what we'll do is we'll have to then take it when it's finished. We'll have somebody edit it, and then what will happen is after the editing takes place, we will then get the final to CreateSpace. CreateSpace will then get it ready, and it takes them a while to get things going. So I mean, when you're working with CreateSpace, like I've said before, just be patient. There's a lot of BS that you have to go through. Takes time, but eventually you can get through it. So on that, Avish, any questions? You want to just pepper me with any questions on what I did with Bill or any of the other stuff I talked about?
Not really. I mean, the only question I had is pretty trivial. It's when you say you sat in a hotel in Vegas. Is that just because you went to Bill instead of having him come to your place?
No, that's because I had the freebie from Circus again.
Oh. Nice. So, but you're just in like a room, not like you weren't in like a conference room or something.
No, we weren't in a conference room. We were in a big room that they gave me as part of their freebie treatment of me.
Oh, I like it.
I know, and you haven't seen those yet. You haven't been out when I had that deal, did you?
Yeah, I was there
Oh
once.
yeah, that's right. So yeah,
Yeah, we
they
came out
put me in a nice room, and so rather than worrying about the distractions of whatever, we went there, and then as it turns out, there was planes flying overhead and whatever. So we still had a few things we had to deal with technically, but the beauty of doing it in the hotel room was we were relatively undisturbed. We didn't have the possibility of the doorbell ringing or anything else.
Now, are you selling or planning on selling the audio itself?
Yes, we are. What we're doing is we're going to, in fact, we've already sold the audio. What we did is Bill actually sold over 70 copies of the audio that we did for $20, the pre-publication price.
Mm-hmm.
And so we made $1,400 on that. I picked up a fairly sizable check from him when I went there last time from my the previous month's revenue. So it was good. So we made money immediately from the audio transcript from the audio. Then we had it transcribed. And by the way, one of the things that everybody who is looking to get transcriptions done of audios, I've now come to the conclusion that your best way to do this is Fiverr. I mean, I just don't think there's a better way to go. Because when you go to Fiverr and you put in audio transcription, did I show this last time, Avish?
Well, I was on last time, but I think you showed this 2 weeks ago. You can get like 20 minutes for $5.
Yeah, I mean, you can get some really good, it's audio transcription. I don't know why it's not in there. Is it? Maybe it's just audio transcription. I thought it would be. Huh. It's weird that it's not showing up. Wow. Audio transcription. It's not showing up at the top. That's kind of nuts. Huh. Well, whatever. So if you go in here and put in audio transcription, which I did, this is really weird that it's not way up at the top like I'm used to seeing it. I wonder what they did with this. Oh, here it is. I will transcribe 20 minutes of audio for $5. I will transcribe 10 minutes of audio for $5. So 15 minutes for $5. So there's a competition going on here with people, and but I would spread the work around and not do all your work with one person. So make sure and spread that around so that you're not not giving the work exclusively to one person. The nice thing is when I do these webinars now, for example, if this one, the one guy who said, one person who said, so 15 minutes for $5. So these webinars are usually running around 45 to 50 minutes. So let's say it's 45 minutes. So I can get this whole webinar transcribed for $15. That's pretty cheap.
Yeah.
And so therefore, I would encourage anyone who's doing anything in audio form, if you want to create the transcript, which you should, you then call or contact somebody on Fiverr, have them do it for you, and you're set. So what else? What else do I need now that I've spent that time out there with Bill, which was really helpful. But which, by the way, the other thing that we did is he said to me, he goes, and this sounds like kind of a stupid thing, but he really has no time to do a lot of stuff. So I was literally doing, a lot of grunt work. I even had, of all people, which I had to send one back today. We couldn't figure out how to use a printer that I ordered on Amazon. So I'm just going to get the exact same printer that I got, or that Bill got when I was out there, that I was able to hook up myself, which made me feel so proud. And I was doing things like helping him hook up a printer. I was just basically doing whatever he needed to get done, including, getting all the info product stuff together. So one of the things that we did was he told me, he goes, one of the things I really need is a way to respond to people who, and you know what? Maybe I can pull it up on, I think I can. Hold on a second. If I go to my Gmail account and put in Bill's name, I think I can probably do this. 1 second. Let me just see here. So Bill DeWeese. So Bill. There it is. Bill DeWeese. Bill DeWeese 1. Oh, where is it? Bill DeWeese 1. I know it started. Oh, there it is now. Bill. There. B DeWeese 1. Okay. So what I want to put in here is email response. Here we go. So let me just see here. Yeah, that's not automated. This is the one. By the way, I can give people her name. Her name is Leslie, and her email address is bloggingwench@gmail.com. So for people who want the person who did the work on Bill's book to turn it from a transcript into a real book, there it is. Can you see it, Avish?
Yep.
Bloggingwench@gmail.com. Her name is Leslie. But I also prepared for Bill. Let me see if I can find this here. Standard email response is what important email response. Standard email response. Okay. So here's what I did. I gave him. I just sat down and I said, okay, what? I put standard email response. Thanks for getting in touch. Given the amount of voiceover work I have for clients this week and every week, I have to send you this generic email response. I apologize for doing it, but I can't help it. I tend to get similar questions, so please take a look at the ones below and see if you can find your answers here. Question: Can I listen to your demo? Yes, for a nominal fee, I'll be happy to. Can I review your website? Yes, I'll review your website for the same $49 fee. Which equipment do you use? And I told him we came up with an equipment list that people can download, and we're also going to try, and this is important. Glad I brought this up. One of the things that we're doing is we came up with an equipment list. And what I am doing is, after he gives me the equipment list, I am going to find sponsors to pay us money for using or displaying or mentioning their equipment. Now, obviously, he won't do that if he thinks this stuff sucks, but there's no reason why Bill DeWeese should not be getting paid by Neumann, which is a high-end microphone manufacturer, for using their equipment. Or, as a minimum, they should be sending him free product to review. Sponsorships. Big money in sponsorships. Now, the only problem with a sponsorship is obviously then people will think you're beholden to that particular manufacturer. So, for example, in the case of, and I don't know if you listen to his radio show, he has it, I think it's once on Saturday, once on Sunday. But are you familiar with, what's his name? Leo Laporte?
I don't think so.
Oh my God, if you don't know Leo, man, he's the tech guy. That's his billing. So if you go to, I think he's got twit.tv. Leo Laporte, this is the guy to watch and listen to as it relates to technology and stuff. This is my favorite guy. He's very, very good. And so Leo Laporte does a whole bunch of stuff, but one of the things, and I don't know how I got off on this, what was I talking about? What was I talking about? Huh. Somebody asked me, they couldn't follow my train of thought. I said, hey, don't use one.
You're talking about sponsors.
Oh, yeah, so sponsors, yeah. So Leo is, yeah, thanks. Leo never, for example, like he reviews everything, like iPhones, the latest Galaxy phone. He's platform independent, right? But he never lets the manufacturers send him anything for free. He buys everything. So he buys the Apple iPhone, he buys the Galaxy S3, he buys everything. Because he doesn't want anyone to think or presume that he's in bed with the manufacturers, which I think makes a lot of sense. Now, depending on what you're doing, in Bill's case, I really don't think this is an issue because we're doing it for a different purpose. So I would suggest thinking about sponsorship at the point where you can get stuff going and you're relatively well known in your field and go with that. And so something we can all dream about for the future. That Bill DeWeese is making a reality right now.
Nice.
So anyway, that's, you know what, I'm about done for the day.